Hey y'all,
What's going on, everyone?
I'm Jay,
And I'm Chris the Bird Nerd.
and
And
we
we
are
are
the
the Bird
Bird Brains.
Brains.
I'm also repping the gear. I dude, I'm so tired. I almost just said I'm Chris.
Well, I mean, it is what we're pushing. I don't know, close to midnight for you, 11 o'clock.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. And I've been up since 5. Love
yeah,
my kids. Love my kids. Um, just keep telling myself that. So, um, but we have an interesting episode tonight, I think. Check out our new 3D printed nest.
yeah. If you guys haven't watched Jay's episode, I I'll probably be posting this one. So if you haven't watched it, go and check it out. At the end of his episode, we've got these nests that we're talking about. They are incredible. We might as well just hit them right now, Jay. Let's just because they're so awesome. If you want to give a quick little backstory of where you got those bad boys and how our viewers can get a hold of them.
Tony Arnold, he is the man. He is one of the best finch keepers in the world. His brand is Bones Birds, which this one doesn't show up well on camera. Let's see if this one does. Yeah, it
There you
does.
go. Yeah.
So these are his nests. He 3D prints them. He has given us permission to 3D print them and sell them here in the United States. They are food safe plastic. They are dishwasher safe. So instead of dealing with the woven nests that you have to do over and over, throw them out, replace them, birds get trapped, none of the above. Cleanable, um, really easy to mount, and just awesome. We have the short neck version and the long neck version, both in a green or a tan. You can put a little dowel in this one for your Gouldians, still take the end off to clean it out and dishwasher it. Like I said, they are 3D printed, so some of them still have a little bit of the 3D printer gunk in them. But they last a really long time. You know, we're they're pretty affordable, and still when you factor in that this is going to last for season after season after year after year, they're much much cheaper
Right.
than the woven nest too, and just better in every way.
Yeah.
So
I think after 1 year, you earn what you've put into them. So for sure.
right, so reach out to Chris, reach out to me, West Coast people. Chris is in Utah, I'm in Alabama, so if you're ever on this side, call me. Um, and we might have, he has another model too, that's a skull that we might get
Yeah.
some skulls in as well.
Yeah. Those will be sweet. So yeah, reach
So,
out to us. They're awesome. They're
yeah,
incredible nests.
I'm gonna keep playing with them this whole podcast.
I
Um,
like it.
but today, they're just fun to fidget with. It's such a cool 3D printing's bonkers to me. But
Yes.
um, today, if you watch the last episode, which is long but cool, I'm getting a new aviary, and I have right now in my current aviary 131 birds. Of that, about 100 or a few more than 100 are adult birds, which means they will still be with me after the breeding season, and they have to come with me to the new aviary. And so one of the big questions everyone keeps asking me is how are you going to do that? How are you going to move birds? So
Which,
today, you want to tell them, Chris? You can tell 'em.
I was gonna say, which is a huge process in itself. So today we're gonna talk about how do you ship birds or move birds from one location to another.
The Bird Brains Podcast with Chris and Jay. The Bird Brains Podcast with Chris and Jay. The Bird Brains Podcast with Chris and Jay. Bird Brains, Bird Brains. The Bird Brains Podcast with Chris and Jay. The Bird Brains Podcast with Chris and Jay. The Bird Brains Podcast with Chris and Jay. Bird Brains, Bird Brains.
All right. Another Bird Brains podcast. We're going to talk about how to move birds. Now, I guess one of the first things we should say is moving finches is a lot different than moving an eclectus like Einstein or a blue and gold macaw. Like if you hear the clicking and moving around in the background on Chris's side of
Yeah,
things.
she keeps begging at the door for me to pull her out. Technically, it's her bedtime, so I'm being a a bad dad, and she's mad at me because I'm keeping her in her cage.
Oh
we'll, we'll
yeah,
let you we'll let you take a peek at her over there. She is. She's like puppy dogging it at the door, like, oh, aren't you gonna let me out? Come on, come on.
Einstein's way past his bedtime, but I'll let him sleep in the morning. I usually let him stay up late on a podcast night,
Yeah.
just because he gets such a kick out of this, and it's really one of the best times. He really likes playing with these nets. Look how tough they are. He can't mess them up. But look at what are you doing? Some
he's it's
deadlifts,
like yeah, he's lifting weights.
but the yeah, and didn't jack it up, which is incredible because his beak is strong. If you watch the last episode, he shredded a pumice stone all over me. But the the obviously moving them is a little different from moving finches, but we'll kind of hit all of it. So um, let's let's start that way, Chris. For moving finches, whether you're buying them, selling them, transporting them, what's your go-to method?
Yeah. Yeah, we can start small and then go big because 4 years ago I had to transport all of my finches, what similar to what you're gonna be
No,
doing
yeah, I
here.
guess you did do that. Yeah.
And I don't know if what I did was was right, but sometimes you get in a pinch, right? Or sometimes things happen quick. And for me, I wasn't planning on moving. And within a month span, I had bought a new home and we were moving. And it was very quick, and I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do. Thankfully, where I moved my birds to, there was already a shed in the backyard that I was going to put the birds in. It's going to be similar to Jay's. It was, just the shell, right? There was no power to it, no water to it, no insulation, right? We live in a cold environment, so most of our structures have quite a bit of insulation. And thankfully, it was in the summertime when I moved. So maybe I'll start big scale. What I did with my birds, Jay. Thankfully, I had quite a few individual cages that I could put my birds in, which is big. And I think naturally, as Jay and I, we've got quite a few birds. I think naturally we accumulate different bird cages, whether it's for breeding or for housing or for shipping. Thankfully, I had a good amount of different cages on hand, and so I tried to sell off as many of my young as I could that were, weaned and ready to be sold, so that I wasn't transporting as many and I wasn't putting as many birds into a cage. Because everything was temporary until I could get some bigger flights built within my shed. So I did that. I put my species that work well together in the same cages. So I tried not to intermingle birds that would fight or be rough with others. I've got Mikey, my cockatiel. He had his own cage to himself because cockatiels can get pretty feisty with other birds, especially in a smaller environment or enclosed cage. I tried to prep my birds as much as I could. So the week before I caught them and moved them, I fed them extra feed every day with some additional vitamins, things like that, just to kind of help condition them a little bit better for the stress that they were going to experience in a week's time. Then I also, 3 days before the official move date, I caught all the birds, put them in their individual cages that I had them in, and then I left them there for a few days in that environment so that they could get used to what they were in. And then that way, when I started transporting them, they didn't seem to be as stressed. It's stressful when you catch the birds, and then it's stressful when you put them in a new environment and then take them somewhere else. So I tried to give them a little bit of time in between each phase to get used to it before I did the big moves. So those are all a few things that I did in preparation of moving the entire flock from one aviary to another. And then once we got here, it was kind of more just me racing against the clock of building some flights and some aviaries as quick as I could so that I could get the birds out of those smaller cages into the bigger ones, and at least getting them some exercise and things like that. But yeah, I think that's kind of how I move the bigger ones. When I do that, Jay, when I ship smaller birds, or I do shipment orders throughout the summer, I do that same thing. I catch the birds several days ahead of time. I give them extra food, extra water. I usually put, some Thrive or other vitamins and enrichment minerals in their water to kind of condition them and strengthen their immune system a little bit. I give them several days in that in my holding cage, and then day of shipping. Hopefully it's their immune system's built up a little bit to withstand the stresses of being put in a box and shipped across, or being caught and put in another cage to go to someone else's home. So I do try to do that ahead of time to alleviate some of the stresses that get put on the birds just naturally when you're catching them and handling them and shipping them from one location to another. How about you, Jay?
Yeah, so very, very similar. So I actually I have a little bit longer of a shipping window than you just because of my weather. But so like right now, today, they should be there in the morning. I can't check the tracking right this second because we're recording, but I have birds on the way to the U.S. Virgin Islands right
Oh,
now.
wow. Very nice,
Yeah,
man.
so first time I've hit almost all the lower 48 and Puerto Rico. First time going out to the Virgin Islands. So I'm interested to see where they go on the tracking, if they just go straight. I'm assuming they're going to get routed through Atlanta because they go on either FedEx or UPS is how they'll fly them typically. So I'm interested to see if they just go to Atlanta and then straight to the islands, or if they end up, going to Miami or Puerto Rico first. So be interested to see.
Right.
But um, that's what I do. I'll move them to a holding cage, condition them and everything. Now, for the big move, my current house, current aviary, and new house, new aviary are only about a mile and a half apart.
That's
And
awesome.
I'm gonna if the renovations and I have to live where my birds live because I've got to be able to check on them every day. I've got to be able to provide fresh food, fresh water, et cetera, every day. So the timeline looks like the move will probably happen in the Marchish timeframe, as in the month of March, which is a less annoying way to say that. But so my plan is basically kind of what you did without having to have. I have a ton of notice. It's October right now. We're starting to build this bird cage, so I ideally I'll have everything up, running, ready to go the day I move them. So
Yeah.
my plan, and what I'm actually hopefully planning on doing, is starting my breeding season as part of the move. So my plan is to get the birds into breeding condition and everything in the current aviary, get them all the way ready, and then instead of putting the nests in this aviary, I will introduce all the birds to the new aviary with the nest boxes in place. So, and I'm hoping that'll actually help spark breeding behavior as
Yeah.
well. So you get a new
Absolutely.
environment full of nesting material, full of nest boxes, and you get to just go to new space, bigger space, less crowded. And I'm hoping all the birds just go to town. But my plan is basically the same as yours. I've got several, you know, holding cage to medium-sized cages. I'm going to catch every single bird out. And we've talked about this in another episode, but I've got like a butterfly net that I do that with.
Yep.
Catch every single bird, put them in those cages, drive them the mile and a half to the new aviary, and put them in. And I'm going from one big aviary to three. So my plan would be to catch those birds and put them in the cage that corresponds with what aviary they're going to. I think I'm going to do the aviaries. I'm going to have three now. So I'm going to have the red, the white, and the blue aviary is my
Nice. Oh, I
plan.
love that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'll put those in the corresponding cages and then just put the whole cage in the aviary, open the door, and let the birds fly out on their own. Um, but it's always a concern. It's stressful. It's dangerous kind of to handle them, to net them for them, not for me. So you want to minimize that. And I think the best way to do that is kind of like you said, it's kind of a weird combination of prepping them ahead of time, and so you have like days of it, and then making the actual change kind of as smooth and as rapid as possible
Right.
so that they can just, okay, that was crazy, but now I'm safe and I can recover, kind of a thing. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to catch them and get them in the best health, best condition I can get them in, catch them, move them, and let them go, just all right in a row.
Yeah. Now, one thing that I would say, if you are transporting maybe one bird or a pair of birds, usually I have little travel cages that I put them in, and I don't know, it's some birds for finches. For me at least, the smaller travel cages work better. They kind of seem a little bit more secluded, and then they're easy to cover. Some of your mid-size hook bills, like the Bork parakeets that we have, and I've got a ring neck pair, things like that. Maybe a little bit bigger is okay, because they do flap around quite a bit and they can damage their wing feathers, on the bars. So kind of take that into consideration, just size of cage and travel cages, right? The travel cages is never a cage that we would ever keep our birds in long term, but they're good for travel, because it kind of secludes the birds a little bit. We cover them with a towel so that they're not seeing everything going around and getting more scared. And then once you get them to their new destination, comfort foods. I'm a Southern boy by heart. I love some comfort foods, and I think that's the same for food, or for the birds. Millet seeds, egg foods. Think if whatever food they're used to, give them that in their new environment to kind of help them settle into the new environment. I usually will give them like an immune booster in their water for the first couple days, just to make sure that they're where they need to be, because they've gone through a really stressful situation, and they could potentially get sick uh, in their new environment if their immune system's down and they're getting exposed to new water, new different animals in the area, etc. And so just making sure that you take that into consideration once they get to the new location, whether you're bringing a bird in or you're shipping a bird out, whatever that may be, just making sure that they're receiving some of that care when they get into the new location.
Right. And if you're getting in new birds or anything like that that aren't from your flock, quarantine, quarantine, quarantine. We've got podcast
Yes,
episodes about it. We've
please,
got
please.
videos about it. Quarantine your birds, even if they seem totally perfectly healthy. They're from a different area with different bacteria, different everything. Quarantine your birds, and even separate from for the medical reasons. It just I think it helps sort of ease their transition. Oh, and that
Absolutely.
actually reminds me, Chris, the other thing I'll be doing before I transfer all the birds is I'll be prophylactically treating my whole flock. I'm going to do scat and mite spray, and I'm going to do a round of Baycox for coccidiosis, because what I'm going to try to do, and I don't think I have any in my current aviary, but I don't want to bring anything with me from the current aviary to the new aviary if I can avoid it.
100%. Yep, I agree totally. And I think of, if those who are listening, the first week of school with our kids, they're always bringing back sicknesses, even though the kids appear to be
Right,
healthy. There's
right.
no different with the
I
bird.
get sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the parents pay the price, right? No different for the birds. Whether you're bringing in a bird or you're sending a bird out, make sure that you're quarantining them, doing preventative measures like Jay just talked about to just ensure that your birds are as healthy as they can be, whether you're sending them out, and then also if you're bringing in other birds, that they're not getting something from them, or maybe the bird you bring in has something, but your flock is strong enough that it and healthy enough that it combats against it, but you're also quarantining that bird appropriately and giving them the right preventative medications in hopes that they're up to par before you introduce them to the rest of the flock.
Right. It goes both, it can go both directions. You might see all your birds as totally healthy, and they really might be, but maybe they have a different, stomach bacteria that they're fine with and used to, and it functions fine, but it's going to throw the new bird way off, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
so it
100%.
goes both ways for sure. Yeah. So, no, this isn't some big, crazy, complicated thing. Get your birds as healthy as possible, transport them as stress-free as possible, get them in their new environment, quarantining or adjusting as much as possible, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, and if you guys are ever thinking about shipping birds, reach out to Jay. He's who's helped me get into shipping, right? So He's very experienced and well known in that. Can give you some really great tips where to buy the shipping boxes, what water containers to use, etc. Which is huge. We want to make sure that if you are shipping, that we're shipping birds appropriately. What methods you can use to ship, via flight or ground transportation, and what are your best resources there and or options. So if you're wanting to venture into that, reach out. I consider Jay a good expert in that. Who's helped me. So ask him all the questions, and then I'll try and follow up afterwards, which he'll answer them all. So we'll just
Yeah.
leave it to that. But I felt constraint these last several years, and now with the world of shipping having been opened up for me, it's opened up a lot of new venues as far as birds coming into me and me getting birds out, and that's been really big. So if that's something you've been interested in, reach out to us and reach out to Jay. We can give you some good pointers and tips, whether you're trying to bring a bird in from someone else or you're trying to send a bird out. We can help you there.
Yeah, I think shipping's important. And look, it's a risk. It is a risk. Knock on wood, I've had a lot of really good success, but there's horror stories out there for sure.
Yeah.
It's a risk to ship birds, but our community is spread out as it is, as rare as some of the birds we're breeding are. Um, Bloodline exchanges, all these things. Shipping is a necessity, frankly, in some cases. I will say it's not a beginner exercise. So
Yeah.
if you're on the fence, let's talk about it. I'll be honest with you, not mean, not judgmental. I'll talk about whether it's a good idea, whether we should do it, whether we shouldn't. I'll help you work through the problem. So always happy to do that.
Yeah, for sure. I think it'd be good.
Mhm. If you want to talk to us, Instagram, Facebook,
YouTube.
YouTube, comments, and then I'm also on Threads, which sucks, and Reddit, which I don't check very much. But reach out. We want to help. Um,
Absolutely.
we already talked about our sweet nests. Should we talk about perch boxes?
Yeah, it's good. We both got them all hanging out right here. Ta-da.
I'm gonna go
Woo.
through it here. So it's a monthly subscription box, and you get some stuff. It's kind of a build your own deal. Some stuff you get every month. So like mine comes with the Hagen, the Hari Gourmet
Yep.
Budgie, which
Yep.
goes towards my Borks and my Budgies and my Cockatiels mixed with some other stuff. They'll come with like little educational readers, right? Like this one's about budgies. This one's about perches. This one's about foraging cool stuff. They have this great stuffing, which is really good nesting material.
Super
Um,
beneficial for the birds breeding.
yeah, they come with different stuff. This is the Leather Elves, which is a really cool bird toy company. This is one of their foragers that it comes with. This one also came with a pumice stone chew, which I will not let Einstein see
My
today.
Mine came with a Smacker's treat,
I was gonna say I got some smackers in here
which
too.
which my birds do love these. I mean, I put them in there, and about a day and a half, it's gone. So,
Yeah, another a balsa wood chew toy, a measuring cup for supplements.
which Jay, they have sent me the measuring cup, and I've actually used it quite a bit. Whether it's measuring out medications that I'm giving to birds, or trying to mix up something, or using my pearl morbide when I'm soaking it for the birds. The measuring cup I've used a good amount, and as silly as that sounds, like that's probably one of my most coveted items that I've
Yeah,
gotten from New Zealand so far.
such a nifty little idea just to have this size, and then
They send
some millet.
send you different sizes of perches. Yeah, and the millet. The millet is something that's consistent, right? Every perch box we've received has had the millet, has had
Mhm.
the shredded material, and then also whatever seed you have ordered, and then you usually get 3 to 4 additional items on top of that each box
And then
that
you
that
can
rotate through.
You can add stuff too if you want, extra seed every month or something. And I really like them. I think it's really cool. It's fun to get like a little bit of a surprise. Um,
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
also, if you're a Birchbox subscription member, you get a discount on shipping on their website on other stuff. Um,
Yes.
you can also use code BirdBrains and get 10% off your order. And it's cool. And then obviously, if you're a bird person like us and you have friends that are also bird people, we've got Christmas coming up. We've got, if you got a winter birthday, it's an awesome gift. I get excited when I see it come in the mail, and so does Einstein.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. And the two perch boxes that Jay and I just showed you, that is the smallest perch box that you can get, right? So that is designed specifically towards your finch species, smaller hook bills. So if you have an eclectus like Einstein, or you got a blue and gold like I do, they have different sizes of perch boxes that you can order that give you different materials. So if I were to order the extra large perch box that would be fit for, your large macaws, I would be getting the big size toys that are coming into that, and along with the seed and some of the other things. So the bigger the box, the bigger the items that come in it that fit the size of your bird.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, that's transporting
The
birds.
Birdbrains Podcast, Chris and Jay.
Love it.
The
Let
Yep.
us know what
Birdbrains
questions you guys
Podcast,
have.
Chris
Thank you.
and Jay. The
Yep.
Birdbrains
Drop in the
Podcast, Chris
comments.
and
What do you
Jay.
got?
The
We want to help.
Birdbrains,
We want to answer
Birdbrains.
stuff. We're,
The
as
Birdbrains
much as we like
Podcast, Chris
talking to
and
each
Jay.
other,
The Birdbrains
want to
Podcast,
talk to
Chris
y'all
and
too.
Jay. The
Love it.
Birdbrains
All right.
Podcast, Chris and
Thanks,
Jay.
See you
y'all.
guys.
The Birdbrains.